So now that we know how to make ads that people want to click, we need to understand how do we actually manage those ads? What's the marketing process behind making sure that we make money from all the efforts we put into creating those ads? So 3 lessons that we're going to learn today. The first one is the phases of the marketing process, then the process of getting to profitable, and how to make sure that you get predictable and consistent results. The first one, let's go over the phases. So in its most simplest form, there's only 2 phases to the marketing process. The first one is testing. So we need to test, for example, the angles, which is the way we approach an ad, the creatives, meaning the images, the statics, etc. And third, the different audiences. So let's go one by one. So testing angles means to have a single image, okay? So for example, an iPhone Note, where the only variable, so everything is constant, the only variable is the angle. Why do we want to do that? Is because when we isolate a variable and we get different types of results, we know that it's because of that variable, because it's the only thing that changed. So the first thing we need to do is see, well, what message will the market resonate the most with? And then now that we know what is the message that we want to use, we need to know what is the vehicle that would allow us to get the most amount of people interested in that message. That's when creative testing comes in. For example, we know our angle. Now we can change the image. Instead of being an iPhone Note, it can be simply a selfie, a video, etc. A different type of way of saying the same message. And then when we know what's the best way to say the message and what vehicle in which to give that message, meaning angles and creatives, we need to test the audience. So how does Facebook work? Facebook has 2 users in mind: the consumer, the people who use Facebook, and the advertiser. So it needs to please both people. How do they please the advertiser? Easy, simply helping them get their ads in front of the right people. And how do they please their consumers? It's by showing them the content and the ads that they would like. So the algorithm of Facebook is constantly improving at matching the right audience with the right ad, because it's in the best interest of Facebook of doing that. So usually if we just let the algorithm design, we're gonna get very good results, but it's possible to get even better results with audience testing. For example, we have 2 different types of audiences. We have broad, which is a term we use when we have no interest. So let's say we said, okay, Facebook target in this region from that age to that age. That's broad. But if we want to be more specific, we can say Facebook target in that same region from that same age to that same age, but only people who are interested in finance, only people who are interested in insurance, only people who are interested in investments, etc., etc. That allows us to potentially, let's say our ads get shown to 100 people. That allows us to potentially get, let's say, 90 out of 100 people who could potentially be interested, instead of from broad, we would be, let's say, 50 out of 100 people. And the Facebook algorithm gets to determine who to show your ad to based on its content. So for example, you say entrepreneur on your ad a lot, then Facebook is going to assume you want to target entrepreneurs, right? Now, what allows us to go from phase 1 to phase 2? That's lesson number 2. The sequence of events that you want to go through, mentally at least, when creating a campaign is that step 1 is to lose money, which is kind of a joke, but truly it isn't. Why? This is because, let's say you have 10 ads and you spend $100 per ad, meaning you spent $1,000 total. And let's say from that $1,000 that you spend, one single ad made $500. So 9 out of the 10 ads failed. One of them made $500. So a lot of people, what they're going to conclude is that, well, I lost $500, which technically is true. But the true marketer is going to see that if one ad made $500, what if we had spent that whole $1,000 on that one ad? That's when we would have made, let's say, $5,000 in this scenario. So the first step is to lose money, because you're actually buying data. You're not buying leads yet. You're buying the data that allows you to make the necessary decisions to get those leads. And now that you have leads, you need to focus on getting volume. Why? Because once again, with the mindset of having data, the more volume you have, the more data you have, so the faster you can trim down the fat of the volume to only keep the quality. And lesson number 3, now that you have quality, the last thing you want to do is only focus on quality. You need to keep testing. So for example, 80% of your budget, 80 to 90% should go into the quality. Just keep getting leads. But spend some of that money back into this same cycle. Why? Because eventually that ad is going to stop working, let's say in a couple months. You want to make sure that by the time that happens, you're ready to just flip with another better ad. So instead of having constant up and downs in your marketing, you simply have one constant climb. So these are the simple marketing principles that you want to keep in mind to have peace of mind and to make your campaign as profitable as possible, as fast as possible.